Hi guys, quick update for the major markets here. So stock market, as we've been calling for the better part of a year, we are going to go higher. We've always had the count that this is a wave 5, and wave 5s, fundamentals go out the window, news goes out the window, and it's really just a fake speculative move. Okay, so in Elliott wave, wave 3 is always the best fundamentals. Wave 4 is the consolidation, calm before the storm, some profit taking, and that then sets up the very speculative wave 5 move, as we found out in Bitcoin, silver, 1929, Nasdaq bubble, 2008. So everyone's waiting for this kind of move, but this is not going to happen just yet. Before these kind of moves, typically the market likes to go pretty vertical, to be honest with you, as we found out with the Nasdaq in 2001. Do we have a Nasdaq here? Yeah, and this is exactly what we've done here the last couple of years. We've just consolidated, and next thing you know, we're just breaking out in a 1 2 3 4 5 3 4 5, and then we get the large move down. So that those days are going to come. There's no way this is going to end well. We all know that, but there's not much I can do about that. I'm just here to tell you what's going to happen, basically. Now, short term, and in terms of time, if we follow this blue trend line, that gets you to March 21. I think it will occur September 21 to first quarter 23. So we're looking at an initial target of 4283, and for that to occur, let's take the average here, March 22. So that gets you at least another 18 months for people to get trapped up here. And we know people are going to get trapped because we know 99% of people don't know how to read a chart, and if they did, things like this in Bitcoin, and we'll get onto Bitcoin in a minute, things like this wouldn't happen. But the difference between the stock market and Bitcoin was that here it was Postman Pat and the milkman trying to get all in the hype and all in the videos like P. Diddy. But unfortunately, the stock market is going to trap a lot more people than just the average Joe. It's going to trap everyone, and so far the positioning tells us only really 10% of retail are involved, and probably I'd say 30-40% of hedge funds. There's plenty more people to get involved here, and everyone's just going to FOMO in over the next couple of years, and then it's all over. So there's more to go. Now, as I said, short term, probably, let's say, I don't know, first week of January, there is a chance we go a little bit higher, and then we get a wave 2 correction, all the usual, bearish news, and next thing you know, we're going to go higher. So yeah, you'd be very surprised how high this market is going to go. Is it going to make any sense? No. Is it fake? Yes. Is it rigged? Probably. Is it manipulated? Yes. I've never once said in any of my videos any of this is real, but hey, the market wants to go higher, and there's nothing we can do about that. And if you're shorting this market, as I myself have been doing, you have to understand they're only short-term shorts. Any 3-wave correction here, 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 here is getting bought. So if you are short, don't expect this kind of move, because it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And yeah, watch out for a false breakout of this line. Maybe in January, then we go higher. Now, where do we go next? So we'll get onto Bitcoin in a minute. Cable. So, we've been all over this move. If you have a look back at my YouTube videos, I called the low, actually caught this low to the dot, and we've been all over this move here. This is the biggest 2-day move pretty much ever on Bitcoin, and this is a 500 pip move in 45 seconds. So, we've been all over this short squeeze. If Bitcoin's going sideways, you have to look at other markets. Ultimately, if you have a look on the futures, we're going to go to this volume node at 160. Okay, these large volume nodes on multi-year charts, they will attract the price. Now, the real question is not if we get to 160, is when we get to 160. Does it end up becoming something much more than that, and we end up actually challenging these highs in the next 3-4 years or so? Something to consider. And there's massive economic implications of an appreciating currency and their effect on, let's say, property prices. Okay, one can make the hypothesis that UK property prices have been artificially inflated by a weakening currency and low interest rates, and hence foreign investment. But as the currency appreciates, just something to think about. This game is much more than just trading a 500 pip move in 45 seconds. You need to be zooming out and understand, actually, this is a multi-year uptrend, and what does that mean for, asset prices, whatever, price of oil, cars, food prices, whatever. There's tourism. There's multiple implications of this move for the UK, for America, and for the Eurozone. And we're going to go to 160, and short term is probably going to correct. As far as I'm concerned, the entire move is over now. There's no more short squeeze to be had. It's probably made 5 waves up, so I'm not really interested in even looking at this until maybe we get to here, and then tag this low volume node at 136, then here, and then we're going to go higher. But the bulk of the move has been done, and that's been one of the best trades of 2019. Every year you're guaranteed a big move in a major, in a forex pair. Next year will probably be the euro. Don't know what the euro is doing up to here. There's very strong support on the euro at very strong support on the euro at this target here. Very, very strong support on the euro. So next year should be time for the euro to call it a day. Now, dollar index, that's on my other chart. Let's pull up dollar index here, and Dow's going to go to 43k, and then it's time to call it a day. Dollar index, so this is just waiting. It's consolidating. We're still of the opinion that there is a dollar shortage, and dollar goes higher. Obviously, cable, we're of the opinion cable goes higher as well. So it looks as though pound and dollar are going to appreciate as we go further into this fake market and business cycle. So next year the dollar is going to make a comeback and continue its uptrend, I think. It's pretty much made an inside day on the quarterly. So is that September, October, November, December? So that's almost going to be a quarterly inside break for next month. So watch the dollar to continue its gains into next year. Target 104, 105, 108, 113, 119, and I've not really projected as high as 129, but I guess it could happen. And then obviously once the stock market peaks, dollar's going to call it a day. I've got a 66 here, but we know dollar's going to go all the way to here as well. So very strong support on the dollar in 2026 to 0. Now let's have a look at gold. So let me just pull up this chart here. What's this? So gold. So basically with gold, there is a chance that we go higher here towards these higher targets. If you have a look on the Fibonacci's, there is actually support at 1581, 1599, and actually as high as 1633. So there is a chance with gold. This seems to be corrective, and it seems to be telling me there might be a wave 2 shakeout on the minor degree in the stock market over the next 4 to 6 weeks. So there is a chance gold could actually move up here. It could very well happen before the end of the year, or there might be some more consolidation, and then maybe January, February, we get this final move up in gold to these higher targets, as I say here. And if gold ever gets to 1633, 1633.3, you want to be shorting that, I think. And the time zone tells me it may occur in February, March, and March. So there is a chance gold might make one more push up. Ultimately, as you know, I'm of the opinion gold is going to go lower because I just can't see a situation where the stock market goes to 40,000 and gold goes to, gold's going to break these highs. So I'm still of the opinion, if this does happen, and that's a big if, we could just fall apart here. If this does happen over the next 3 months or so, watch out for this level here, this 1633 fib level. If we get a failure up here, there is a chance we then get the big push down in gold all the way back down to $800, and that would obviously be my long-term count, which is still WXY. Technically this has not been invalidated, but I'm still macro speaking of the opinion we see 1000 gold before we see 2000 gold. So something to think about on gold, but like I said, there is a chance we get a push higher. Silver, you know, I mean, what can you say on silver? It appears to be forming a wedge, and we're looking for a swing move up to this level here. So much like gold, if silver and gold suddenly start waking up here over the next couple of weeks, there is a chance that's the first move, correction, move up, another correction. There is a possibility, especially if gold goes to that you know, 1633 level, we get a move up in silver towards $21, and then we get a push down, because I'm still of the opinion that silver and gold are still bearish. I'm not convinced silver and gold have started a new bull market. I'm still of the opinion that the stock market rules and gold and silver are not ready yet. I'm still of the opinion that silver and gold eventually we see lower prices, and I think silver has a possibility of hitting $10 at some point over the next couple of years. So yeah, so all of that was the first move. You know, this is the flat correction, and then we're going to get the final move down to here. Maybe tag some of these pivot levels here, and you know, where's the Fibonacci here on the silver futures? Yeah, bounced at the 50. There's your 61.8. So no one can say to me $10.5 on silver is not possible over the next 2 years. I refuse to believe that. But hey, I could be wrong. Silver may go to $50 tomorrow, but then again, pigs may fly. Oil. So oil has just been wasting everyone's life away. There's nothing to do in oil. It's very, very difficult. Stay away from things that can hurt you. You know, 48 laws of power and all that. So there's nothing to do here. It's just consolidating in a large triangle, and it could very well stay range bound between 50 and 60 over the next year or so. So I haven't really looked at this since this short squeeze here, but there's not much to do. You know, these kind of choppy markets, whilst they're great training markets, they're also great markets to break even and lose a lot of money. So I don't like markets like this. I like to stay where the high probability trades are, but I can just foresee this, and then either we get this move or we get that inflationary push alongside the stock market. I am of the opinion we do eventually break this high at $77 alongside the stock market as it moves towards 43k, and then we get the big collapse in oil alongside the stock market. So but yeah, there's not been much to do since January on oil, so you know, stay away from things that can hurt you. New Zealand dollar, we've been over this as well. So it was a huge short squeeze. We had a look at the COT data, and it was telling us that hedge funds have been caught napping here and they're too short. So really, it's just a very simple flag. It's a very simple flat pattern. You break the lows, you're going to break the highs. So very simply, over the next 6 months or so, it should get to 0.75. So you don't want to be aggressively shorting the New Zealand dollar. Much like cable, we're going to go higher to 0.75. So we've covered gold, stock market. You know, there's not much to say there. Bonds, yeah, difficult one on bonds. This chart doesn't make any sense, but good thing I don't really look at bonds that much. They're not too important. But if gold goes down, there's a chance bonds could still move lower, and so yields go higher. And the VIX is well, there you go. You know, there's not much money to be made when the VIX is all the way down here. Ideally, the best trading environment is between 15 and 20, but high volatility doesn't stay around for too long. So you need to react and change up this, you know, you need to change up your game. When the volatility is very, very low, you need to be looking at maybe longer positions, because you're not going to get the same moves in a short space of time. And when the volatility is very high, that's when you reduce your positions and you shorten the time period. So really the VIX is, you know, the key marker for swing traders. You need to understand where the VIX is and build a strategy around that. As I've always said, the best strategy is 2 days to 6 weeks. That's where all the big moves occur. Much trading, but here you just gotta be more longer orientated. So Netflix. So we've covered this before. Really, there's been nothing to do. In Netflix, there is a chance we go to 1000 if this is a 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 3 large wave triangle 4, then we break out. Of course, the alternate is that Netflix has already topped out, and that's the 3, that's the 4, that's the 5, and this is just the large topping pattern, and in fact it's going to break this triangle and go lower to here. So really it's too risky to get involved in Netflix. I'm 50-50 as to what's going to happen, but the good thing is there's nothing to do as of yet. It's not broken either of the two lines. There is a chance though we do go higher, but there's also a chance we go lower. So there's not been much to do. Now at some point during the first half of next year or next decade, there's going to be something to do in Netflix, only because if that's an A, B, C, D, E, there's a chance if we consolidate for another 3 months and we get the divergences and the volume coming in, note how low volume this is, and we look for that breakout, this could be a very powerful breakout. Okay, Netflix, we know, doesn't mess around when it gets moving. Okay, it consolidates for long periods like it did here for nearly a year, and then suddenly we got a large breakout. So Netflix is definitely one to watch. You know, we got a 300 move in pretty much the same time that it took to go sideways. So, you know, Netflix doesn't mess around when it gets moving, hence why it's on our radar. But anyone who's purchased Netflix in the last year, it's just gone sideways. So currently there's no trade to be had here, there's no investment. I am noting this hidden bullish divergence, and if we get another new low, maybe we get another new low to here, that would add more strength to the bullish argument. But like I said, another 3 months or so and then we can look for the move. So it's either going to be a very powerful move to here, or all of this is a topping pattern and you'll never see 420 again and we go down. But like I said, because this stock market has still got higher to go, there is a chance we still make one more move up in Netflix. Tesla's been one of the best trades of the year, so we call these lows in 175. Really, much of the move now is now done. Tesla, the target is 600 something. I forget what the target is. There's not been much to do now because the bulk of the move is done. Yeah, so what's that? 622. Yeah, 622 on Tesla. So there's not much to do now. Twitter is the one we're watching for next year. So just like we were watching Tesla, we're watching Twitter only because this to me looks like an impulse. If you count it from here, that's a very clear 5-wave move. So that's either an A or a 1. This is a B or an X or a 2. And so there has to be a third move here. And the third move gets you towards 64. Now, the question is, when does it move? So everyone's waiting for this move to get broken because there's plenty of stops down here. So we're waiting ideally for this move to occur. So if the stock market does correct, let's say over the next 4 to 6 weeks, Twitter is the one you want to watch, because I'm 50-50 as to whether it has bottomed here. It's not particularly moving right now. There is a chance it may have bottomed here, but ideally you'd want a proper shakeout of all of these lows, get everyone trapped, get the news nice and bearish, and then suddenly out of here you're going to see a very powerful move. Okay, because it's been consolidating now for well over, well, nearly 2 years. Okay, so Twitter's one to watch. I think it'll be one of the best trades of 2020, much like Tesla was this year. So Twitter's one to watch. There's an argument to be made. You could start a stock position here, and if it goes lower, you can add to your position, and then look for that move up. But I wouldn't be starting any leverage positions just in case it does move down to here. You know, before big moves, we like to see a proper hammer candle. Now, there is a chance that could be the hammer that we're looking for. So if this is an inside month, which it probably will end up being, if in January we get a break of this inside month, it could very quickly move to 34, okay? But sometimes, as you know, we can also get a false breakout off an inside month, and then we go to the other side of this, back to 29. Next thing you know, we're at 28, and then we're at 26. So Tesla, Twitter is definitely one to watch. I would rather it breaks down towards 26, but because this just doesn't look right, for an ABC to just suddenly finish here, it just doesn't look right. But it's definitely one to watch, and you know, patience and discipline counts for a lot in this game. So yeah, one to watch on Twitter, but I have a feeling it does have one more shakeout, and then we are ready to go. Apple, I mean, what can you say? There's just nothing to be said. It's just, we've been calling this move to 420 ever since here. So everyone's long. Just a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So, you know, that's a 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, and then 5. So it gets you towards 420. So that move is going to add another, what's that? 15 multiplied 7, 850, 1050. Yeah, 1050. So this move here adds 1000 points onto the Dow just by itself. So, you know, it's going to go higher. And if we have a look at Microsoft, I'm sure Microsoft's going higher as well. Where's Microsoft going to go to? Yeah, 274, which is ridiculous. I know it's ridiculous. It will value Microsoft at probably $1.5 trillion. But hey, I didn't make up the rules. I'm not here to tell you how it's going to end. I'm here to tell you how it's going to begin. But that move, how much does that add to the Dow? 120 times 7, 840. So between Apple and Microsoft, you are adding nearly 2,000 points onto the Dow. So you can see we're easily going to hit 40k, and these valuations are going to get pretty ridiculous. You know, if you want to look at the wealth disparity in the world, look no further than Microsoft and Apple. Okay, combined they have a market value now of well, that's not right, $2.4 trillion. Okay, Apple is like the 19th wealthiest nation in the world, and Microsoft is probably number 20. Okay, if you were to value nations on their GDP, Apple is the 20th wealthiest nation on the entire planet. Okay, the combined market cap of these two companies is more than the entire Russell index. So all 2,000 companies, Microsoft and Apple now have a larger market cap than this. So if you want to look at how wealth is really shared across the world and how the 0.001% own more than the bottom 99%, then look no further than M&A. You know, the entire world economy is basically hanging on the hopes of Microsoft and Apple, and hey, things are going to get quite ridiculous over the next couple of years, but once again, not much I can do about that. Uber, I'm still of the opinion that we go higher. It's just way too cheap, and I think 64 is very much possible, or as a minimum, we break these highs at 47. Now, those are the markets that we're covering here. So let's have a look at Bitcoin. So with Bitcoin, the issue is we're still in a bear market. That's the first thing, obviously. And the problem is, on the BLX chart, we're looking at this trend line going all the way back to 5 years ago, and everyone's watching this line, right? Now, there is a chance we get a move down here towards 5.8k, and it's a false breakout, so you need to watch out for that. Now, how do you know it's a false breakout? A false breakout is typically high volume, and suddenly within minutes or a couple of hours, a day, it suddenly reverses and goes back above the trend line, and in which case that will all be a false out, and it's going to move higher, probably towards this line here at 8.6 and maybe even 9k. Now if it's not a false breakout, there's a chance we have a convincing high volume break, we retest the line, and then we go lower, and then of course the issue is the volume profile, because there's no volume here, right? So we could easily move down all the way to 4k, and when you're at 3.8k, then you're going to end up challenging these lows, and the next thing you know, we're at here. So it's just something to watch. We are watching this date here, 7th of January, only because that is the time equivalence of this move and this move. So 1-to-1 time ratios are very, very important. Just like May is very important, because May is this time elapsed added on to here, that gets you towards May. So it's clear something may happen in January, and something is definitely going to happen around the halving in May. But the question is, how low or high for that matter is Bitcoin going to be around that time? But time aside, this is the situation. So it's too late to be short, and it's too risky to be short just in case there's a false breakout. On top of that, it's too risky to be long, because if it's not a false out, you could just get a big move down to here. So it's not a very nice time to be involved right now, I don't think. And this move looks rather corrective. You know, you could easily read this as a 1, 2, 3 large correction, 4, 5. The Bollinger Bands are getting very tight, but just because the Bollinger Bands are getting tight, it doesn't mean the move is going to be to the upside, okay? When you see tightening of Bollinger Bands, as some people like to talk about, all that means is there's low volatility, we're compressing like a spring, and a big move is imminent. But as we found out here, the big move may very well be down. So I think it's too risky to be long or short. Personally, I think the bulk of the short move is now done. Time to get short was well above here, and a retest of that level here. But that's the situation in Bitcoin. So really, there's not much to do right now. And if we have a look at some of these cryptos, assuming the bearish count, you know, there's a 90% chance 90% of this list goes to zero, right? So if we have a look at Ethereum, if we're running the bearish count, which is that this entire move from 83 all the way up to 350, that was just an X wave or a B wave, that then sets up very, very bearish, you know, targets here. There's nothing stopping Ethereum going to 15, okay? And once again, that's the time in May, which is halving, which is basically this time added on to this time. So of course, for Ethereum to get to 15, Bitcoin would have to go to 24996 and 2k, obviously. But you know, that's the bearish count. You know, the bearish count is very, very bearish. Okay, and you know, it's just not a good time to be involved, I don't think. And if that's a 1, that's a 2. You know, is that going to happen? Really? I don't think so. I think there has to be a proper shakeout of this market. There needs to be no one on YouTube anymore, no one on Twitter, no one needs to be talking about Bitcoin, and only then are we going to have bottomed out. I mean, if we have a look at Litecoin, you know, what's stopping Litecoin from going all the way to $8 or 6.9 or this block at $4? There's nothing stopping Litecoin from doing that. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying it's something to note. You know, short term, there's this pivot level at 41, but you know, at what point do you stop calling this a wave 2? You know, at some point it's just going to continue to go lower. Next thing you know, we're at these lows, 30, then we're at, you know, 21 again. So for me, looking at these sort of coins, you know, XRP could easily go to 0.043. So you know, things could still go lower, and I want to see a proper shakeout. And XRP is not bullish anyway until it breaks this trend line, which has been holding it down for the better part of 2 years. So you know, things could go lower basically. But yeah, short term, let's pull up the Bitstamp chart. Short term, you know, 5.8k, that would be your next level. But you know, we're very, very close here to so many important lines, and this is the line coming from 5 years ago. So assuming we don't get a false breakout and we immediately go back up, we could do a retest of this level, and next thing you know, we're down here. And of course the triangle count is still very much possible. It's, if you have a look at my alternate counts video, I've given all the alternate counts, you know, A, B, C, D, E, and then we go lower, or then we go higher. Possibly there is a flat correction count, 1, 2, 3, but the count as I've had it from 2 years ago is still very much valid. You know, no one can say to me this count is not valid. So yeah, you know, when Bitcoin's going sideways, best to look at a cable and make 500 pips in 45 seconds. Okay, let's have a look at my other charting platform here. So are we looking at anything else? Yeah, let's just finish off with this. So my opinion is these marijuana stocks haven't properly bottomed out. I appreciate short term it's probably very oversold and there's some kind of bounce going on, but I still feel these marijuana stocks can go lower. So TLRY, your next target 12 to 8, and of course there's very strong support at 0. Cron, you know, yeah, I'm just not convinced. I'm not convinced. So you know, that could easily just be a 1, 2, 3 consolidating 4, and there's one more push down. So if Cron gets to 3.87, 2.66, maybe even as low as 1.49, I think that's the time to be getting really involved in this marijuana sector. But it's too correlated to Bitcoin for me to just simply say that they've bottomed, and typically markets don't bottom out in December. Okay, as you can see here, markets tend to bottom out spring, summertime. So you know, something to watch. But yeah, definitely we are watching this, because if all that is a 1 and all that is a 2, yes, technically we are going to start a new bull market in these marijuana stocks, but I still feel they go lower. CGC, you know, not too convincing. Maybe we get a retest of 25, but that could easily just be a WXY X and then Z. That gets you towards 10, and then 6.88, maybe 7.74. So I'm of the opinion the marijuana stocks still have one more push down, but on the next major push down, if the sentiment and the positioning get very, very bearish, and a lot of people have been shaken out of this market, yes, it is possible we start something. ACB, I mean, I've got it going all the way to, you know, 1.18 and retesting this low here. And APHA, yeah, 1.38. Although, yes, any double bottom in an oversold market is always a time to buy. But, you know, is this going to happen? Are we suddenly going to go all the way back to here? Let's see. Let's see. But I still think the marijuana stock has got lower to go. But hey, I could be wrong on that. It's not a market which I look at too closely. But hey, I may change my opinion on this if I need to, because that does look impulsive, and there's a chance we have actually bottomed here. But for right now, I'm just staying away, especially as TLRY is my marker for this market. So I'm looking at this, and this is continuing to make new 52-week lows. So you know, this is my marker that I'm going off really, rather than CGC. Okay, Forex, nothing to do, not anymore anyway. Okay, I'll wrap it up there.